I'm Teresa, and I am a survivor of sex trafficking.
All right. Okay, so how old were you when you first met this man, or when you got started in this trafficking?
I was 16.
16 years old, all right. Can you explain a little bit, or as much as you want, about how you got involved in this?
Well, I was 16, and I was actually working in a chiropractic office, and he was actually a patient there. He had a really nice car, and I made a comment about the car, and so he asked me to come on out and look at the car and take some pictures with it and stuff, and from there it just started this whole relationship. What I thought was a relationship, of course, but it was never a relationship. And so he started sending me these beautiful flowers, buying me presents, giving me all kinds of gifts, taking me out to dinner, and he did that for 2 years actually. Until I turned 18. And then at that point, he was moving to Philadelphia. And he said that he was going to move there, and he was going to send me a ticket once he got all settled there and have me come, and we were going to be together. We were going to be this wonderful couple together. Didn't quite work out that way. But.
Okay, so during that 2-year period, what did your family or your friends think about him?
They thought he was charming, so sweet. He really played a nice role with everybody, you know, and you just knew now. I mean, I didn't know then, but I know now that it was just all a game. You know, it was a game, so that if anything ever did happen, nobody would have ever suspected it was him. Oh, not him, right?
All right, okay. So he was buying you stuff? In that 2-year period. Give me a little bit more about, actually they call that the grooming period today.
Right.
So tell me about your grooming period in that 2 years.
Gosh, we went out to dinner. I mean, in these fancy places you've never been, you know, you're driving around in a convertible, you're getting leather jackets, you're buying flowers, candy. I mean, things like a normal boyfriend wouldn't probably do, you know, just really outrageous stuff.
Did he speak of love to you during that point? Did
you
guys...
Of course, he loved me, and his whole process was, he was showing me how much he loved me by waiting until I was 18, you know.
Really? Okay. Okay, so you thought it was just a harmless, typical boyfriend relationship?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
All right.
A really nice one.
Right. Okay, so when did it change? What happened that it made you think?
When I actually got to fly to Philadelphia. You know, nothing ever even clicked until he sent me a ticket to Philadelphia, and I thought, this is forever. That he really does love me. Who would do that? Who would send me a ticket to come fly out there after they're already gone, you know? So I flew to Philadelphia, and from the minute I landed at the airport, everything changed. Everything. And so he picked me up from the airport, and he took me to a hotel where there was other girls there. And I'm guessing now they call it the bottom bitch.
Yeah.
Right? So she was telling me, he left me there and said that she was going to take care of me. He'd be back in a little while. No even explanation as to what was going on.
Did you suspect at that point that anything was wrong?
No, I think I was really naive, you know. It was weird, you know, I didn't feel comfortable. And I think those are one of the first signs when you're not feeling comfortable and things don't seem like what they're supposed to be. It's your first sign to turn around and go the other way. The second sign was, you know, we were going to get all dressed up, and the whole thing was they made you feel like you're still special, you know what I mean? We're gonna get you all dressed up. We're gonna go out and party tonight, girl, at Atlantic City. You know, everything is gonna be so fun, you know? And so you're thinking, well, okay, maybe, you know what I mean? But you're still know that something's not right, you know? And so we got all dressed and we went out to Atlantic City, and she got our first dates for us, and We got up to the room, and then that's when everything kind of hit you, where you knew you were going to have to do something, right? So I started crying. I cried my little eyes out, and and the guy was telling me how, first he was very upset because of course he had paid for this, whatever was going to happen. And then he realized that I wasn't going to stop crying. So he sent me out and he told me, here's some money, you need to go home. And so I'm sure that whole thing could have went totally different, because probably right when we got up to the room, I went into the bathroom because I was crying so much to try to get myself together and pray to God that some miracle happens, that I don't have to go through with this. So I came back out, and then that's when the guy was like, you know what, here's some money, you need to go home, this isn't for you. And so I came out of the room, and I was still crying, and so the girl was like, the bottom girl was telling me that she was going to take me back, and I was going to have to pay the consequences to the pimp, right? So we went back to the hotel, and he came and he told me, where's the money? And so I tried to act like I didn't know what he was talking about, because I was trying to keep the money so I could leave, right? And so he stripped me of all my clothes and found the money, and then made me get dressed again to go back out, because now I was going to have to pay back everything he had ever done for me. And so all that gifts and all the stuff you thought was just so wonderful, was really just to get me ready for what was going to happen.
Got it. Okay. All right. So somewhere along the line, you've got yourself in this position away from your family.
I'm in a state I don't know anybody. Nobody. Right. All I can do is depend on him, right? So I was very scared, and the only people I knew that I could maybe call was the police. And so I did warn him that I was going to call the police. But I think I kind of did it to see if anything would change, really, And so
were you hoping still that this was a loving relationship at that point?
Yes, I was hoping maybe he needs money. Maybe we just need to get ourselves together. Maybe, this is just, this isn't for real. But you have to realize anybody who really loves you and wants to have a relationship with you wouldn't want you to sleep with somebody else anyways, So, and they would be out trying to make money too if you guys are trying to build something together, right? Not just you out making money for them, So, and on top of that, you never get the money, you never get the gifts. Everything is like, here, this is what you could have, like a big, huge, sparkling diamond, but this is what you get over here, and it's not what you want.
All right, so once the grooming process was over, it went downhill pretty quickly.
Real fast.
Okay, and so all of the things that were bought for you that you thought were gifts for you, you ended up having to pay
back.
for it. Pay back. Okay. Were you totally surprised at that point?
Yeah, I was
still thinking,
really hurt. I think that's what gave me the strength to call the police in the first place.
Okay.
Because I had nobody else to go to anyways,
right.
So I think once you get to that point where things aren't right and you don't have anywhere to go and you don't have anyone to call, the police seemed like the only option.
Okay, so how did you have the courage then to do that? Or how did
I think because you thought what you thought was going to be, and when it turned out not to be that way, and you see that you're the only, he wants you to sleep with other men to make this money for you guys, and he's not doing anything, and you're with a bunch of other girls, and so it's not just you, and then it's like the threats have already started, where he's threatening your family, he's threatening your friends, he's threatening anybody you love, and you're around, and you're somewhere where there's nobody around. I think that's what gave me the strength to just call the police,
All right. So how did you actually do that? Tell us how you
Well, I had to get dressed and I had to go back out because I knew if I was with them or with her, his bottom bitch or anybody else, I wasn't going to be able to call anybody, you know. So I acted like I was going to go back out on the streets. So I got dressed and I walked back downstairs and I told the bottom girl that I had to use the bathroom. And so I went to the bathroom and I called the police, and the police actually came, you know. And so, but it didn't, you know, like that didn't stop him, you know, because even when the police came, like he had to give me money to go home and all that stuff, but that didn't stop the harassment. I mean, he still called me even after I got home, and he still wanted to talk to me, and I thought, okay, things are gonna change. Well, then that's when things got really bad, right? And so, and I thought, oh, well, maybe it was kind of like an act or something, you know, but it wasn't. And so that's when I got cut and thrown in the garbage.
Okay. Do you want to say any more about that? So in your mind, you were hoping still for a relationship with this man.
Yes.
Part of you still wanted that.
And I'm thinking, oh, he came all the way back to San Diego after he flew me home. Maybe that's, you know, maybe, I don't know, maybe something was going on that, I don't know what was going on,
right.
you know?
Right.
But it wasn't, you know. And another thing is, if you go to jail, you are left by yourself to fend for yourself. They're not coming for you. They're not going to help you. They're not going to do anything for you. You're left for yourself. And just like him cutting me and throwing me in the trash because I wouldn't do what he wanted me to do you think he cared if I died?
So Teresa, now it's been, 10 years since you've been out? Right then? And you have 2 children of your own now.
I do.
What would you want your children to know about this today?
Just be aware of your surroundings. People are so caught up in like not being aware of what's going on, how people are acting. If you think it's too good to be true, it probably is too good to be true, you know? And I know that's like a cliche saying, but that's really how it happens. You really think that you're going to get all this glitz and glamour and money, and it's not what it is, you know? You have to work hard for your money. Even people who are drug dealing and prostituting and doing and stripping and doing all these things that are against God in the first place, they get all this fast money. Where are they now? You know, most of them are in jail. Most of them don't have anything. Most of them are living on the streets because money comes as fast as it goes, right? And so I want my kids to be, I mean, even today after this has happened to me, I have 2 boys. I don't even have daughters. And I'm still afraid to let them out of my sight, you know, because you just don't know about people nowadays, you know?
Okay, so after the police came and got you, what happened after that? What was life like for you after that?
I felt no self-worth. I was very humiliated. I felt nobody loved or cared for me. So I just was out of control. Got into a lot of trouble. I ended up in jail. I never got really into a lot of drugs, but a lot of my friends that I was hanging with were. And so I did go to jail for about 6 months, and then I got out of jail, and I still couldn't get my little act together because I didn't have anybody around me that cared about me. And so instead of going to jail, I went to prison. And so at that time, when I went to prison, it was a very eye-opening experience. It's someplace you never want to be. You don't have a choice when you eat, when you shower, when you go to the bathroom, when you go outside. Life is very different. And so I decided that I better get my act together. And so when I got out, I got a job, and I started to change things for myself because nobody else was going to do it. And so it was either that or end up on drugs or end up back in jail forever or something, because nobody else was going to help me or do anything for me.
Okay. All right, so that was did you say that was a 5-year period?
Yeah.
It took you to get back to a place of starting life over again.
Right.
And so, one last comment, what would you want to tell the girls who think this is a good thing to get into?
It's not. It's definitely not. If you don't do what they want, they either put you on drugs so they can manipulate you into doing what they want, or they threaten your life, or they hurt you. And so those 3 things are probably the worst you want to feel anyways. It's not a life for anybody. It's all smoke and mirrors, where it looks like one thing, but it's totally not that. It's completely something else that you don't want to be.
All right, Teresa, thank you. I know this is hard to tell your story, but
I just hope it helps other people. I really do. I hope you think about it. Just think about what I've said and maybe start seeing the signs before it happens, that you don't get involved in something like that. It's not a place where any girl should ever be at anyways. It's a horrible life, and there's nothing glamorous or glitzy about it.
well, thank you again, Teresa, for the time you've taken
you.
with us.